Kate Martin outscores Caitlin Clark. Kalia Copper's 32 points is not enough for Phoenix. Angel Reese gets clotheslined by Alyssa Thomas, and a whole lot more. Here is your recap for Saturday, May 25th edition of WNBA Action. And we start with the first game of the day as the New York Liberty faced off against the Minnesota Lynx and got beat badly, losing 67 to 84. Now, for the New York Liberty, they had their normal starting lineup of Courtney Vandersloot, Sabrina Ionescu, Benijah Laney Hamilton, Brianna Stewart, and Jonquel Jones. While the Lynx, they were actually down a starter as Diamond Miller suffered a right knee injury in the second quarter of Thursday's game against the Connecticut Sun, and now she is listed as out indefinitely. So, yesterday, Bridget Carlton got the start for Diamond, along with the usual suspects for the Lynx of Nafisa Collier, Alana Smith, Kayla McBride, and Courtney Williams. And from the get-go, it was basically Minnesota who dominated the first. The Liberty came back in the second quarter, and in the third quarter and fourth quarter, the Lynx went back to doing a thing. And what specifically was the Lynx thing? Well, it was all about the three ball and shooting it effectively. As the Lynx went a whopping 50% from the three-point line, knocking down 14 three-pointers, and everybody got in on the action, guys. Everybody who started for the Minnesota Lynx knocked down at least one three-pointer in yesterday's game. And Minnesota's overall field goal percentage was good as well, with them finishing 47.8% from the field. And when you are shooting well, and when you are winning in rebounds and assists, which the Lynx were last night, it makes it almost impossible to lose the game. For the Liberty, they just couldn't get anything really going. Their three-pointers were really, really off all game, going 24% from beyond the line. Defensively, they kept getting beat, allowing the Lynx to get makeable looks at the basket. And overall, this Liberty team didn't look connected or in sync throughout the game. Their best quarter was that second quarter, and that was because you had people like Courtney Vandersloot, who was passing and scoring, and you had Brianna Stewart, who was shooting that ball. She had 8 of her 20 points in that second quarter alone. But outside of that second quarter, the Liberty folded. So now the Liberty leave Minnesota on a 2-game losing streak. They lost to Chicago. Now they lose to Minnesota. Their next game is May the 29th as they go home to play against Phoenix. For the Lynx, they are now 3-1 on the season, and they actually play tonight as they get on a private flight to go to Atlanta to face the Dream. All right, guys, now let's talk about the next game yesterday. That was a straight-up battle as the Connecticut Sun took down the Chicago Sky 86-82. Now, guys, this game was all that and a bag of chips as the game was close throughout, and it was a nail-biter where you just didn't know who was actually going to win this game. Now, probably the biggest highlight of this game was this.
For three, bucket! Reese, another chance, blocked from behind. Spins, quick drive, couldn't get the roll.
Well, you see Angel Reese trying to come in. Oh, my goodness. She had her hand around.
While getting ready for a rebound, Alyssa Thomas takes down Angel Reese by the neck in a totally uncalled for action. Rightfully so, Alyssa Thomas was given a flagrant 2 and ejected from the game. For her part, Angel Reese took it in stride, saying this in the postgame.
You spoke pregame just about your excitement to play against Brianna and Alyssa Thomas. How tough was that matchup? We obviously saw the ejection, but just what was that matchup like overall?
Yeah, it's still the same feeling. I mean, two respected players, obviously. It's no hard feeling to AT. Obviously, I know she purposely probably didn't do it towards me, but just being able to come out there and just be strong and stand on 2 feet. I mean, it was going to be a tough game, and that's what I'm built for. And my teammates had my back throughout the whole game, so I was prepared for it.
And guys, after Alyssa Thomas got ejected from the game, DeWanna Bonner started to heat up and made 11 of her 19 points after that point, including 2 game-changing three-point baskets. It really was DeWanna Bonner that sealed the deal for the Sun with Ty Harris, Bree Jones, and Dejanay Carrington really coming in clutch for this team. But for me, the game was determined by the boards because that's where the Sun absolutely dominated the Sky. The Sun finished with 38 boards, including 16 O boards alone. The Sky had just 21 rebounds and 9 O boards. The problem with the Sky was that, their guards did not box out. They didn't box out at all on their man. And they just watched the ball. They watched the ball hit the rim, and that lack of effort, that lack of boxing out their man, primarily the guards, but also the post players a little bit in there, that led to a whopping 27 second chance points for the Sun and only 7 second chance points for the Sky. Guys, that's the ball game right there. That is absolutely the ball game. For the Sky, it was all about Marina Mabry, who led the charge for the team with 23 points, hitting some clutch three-pointers. Dana Evans also added some three-point baskets as well, with 13 points finishing the game. And for Angel Reese, she played a whopping 33 minutes, her most so far as a Sky player. She had 13 points and 5 rebounds. But guys, don't let the lack of points fool you. For a good amount of the game, we saw Angel Reese have the tough assignment of guarding either DeWanna Bonner or Alyssa Thomas. And I have to say, guys, she did a better job than most of the Sky players did, most of the Sky post players did in guarding those players. So defensively, yes, she did get beat sometimes, but overall, I thought she played pretty good. Elizabeth Williams finished with 10 points and 5 rebounds. She also added in 3 block shots as well. And Kennedy Carter fouled out of the game early, finishing with 11 points and 3 rebounds, 3 steals, I should say. If Kennedy Carter does not get fouled out in this game, it's very much possible that we might have saw the Sky pull out this game as the victor. The Connecticut Sun continue their undefeated play, going 5-0, and the Sky are 2-2 on the season. Both teams play again on Tuesday as the Sun face off against the Phoenix Mercury, and the Sky stay at home and they play against Seattle. All right, guys, next game where we saw Hawkeyes versus Hawkeye and their former coach in the building to watch it all unfold. The Las Vegas Aces defeated the Indiana Fever 99-80 in a game that was close in the first quarter, but after that, it was all she wrote as A'ja Wilson did her normal domination. Jackie Young showed how she is not only a great scorer, but also continues to be a lockdown defender. Kelsey Plum continues to do her thing, and we saw Kate Muddy Martin wow the crowd with her efficient shooting. For the Indiana Fever, it was a rough night, as particularly no one did well for the squad, with the exception of Grace Berger, who got, for the most part, garbage minutes. We also saw Nalissa Smith come off the bench yesterday, who played pretty decent. And speaking of coming off the bench, guys, the Fever finally did the thing that a lot of us were thinking that they were going to do. They made Timmy Fagbenle a starter. She emerged in the starting lineup yesterday, replacing Nalissa Smith from the starting lineup. For Timmy Fagbenle, she did her best to sort of stay out of foul trouble. She only finished with 4 fouls, which for her is really good. She also added in 13 points, 8 rebounds, and she had a block for the squad. For the rest of the Fever, scoring was really low, but spread out, as Kelsey Mitchell led the squad with 16 points. Aaliyah Boston had 12. Caitlin Clark had 8. Nalissa Smith had 8. Lexi Hull had 12. Now, for this game, it was kind of fun to see Kate Martin guard Caitlin Clark for a hot second, and also see Kate Martin continue to thrive in a Las Vegas Aces uniform. Guys, she is turning into a 3-and-D type of player right before our very eyes. She was 2 of 4 from the three-point line yesterday, finishing with 12 points, 7 rebounds, 1 block in 22 minutes. Now, guys, 22 minutes is a lot for a rookie on a Becky Hammon team. She had more minutes off the bench than any other bench player for the Las Vegas Aces. That shows a lot about the confidence that this team has in Kate Martin. Now, for the rest of the Aces, well, as I said earlier, A'ja Wilson was just being A'ja Wilson. She casually put down 29 points, 15 rebounds, including dropping a 3-point bucket. Yes, A'ja Wilson can shoot 3-pointers. She showed it last night. Jackie Young had 22 points and 6 assists. And also, again, as I was saying, she did play some really good defense. She was guarding Caitlin Clark for the majority of the game. We saw Kelsey Plum have 20 points, and she also led the squad with 7 assists for the team because, again, Chelsea Gray is still not back just yet. For the Indiana Fever, it was a rough night as they finished their grueling early schedule, a schedule where they played 7 games in 12 nights all around the country. And that's a whole lot of games, especially considering that yesterday's game was a back-to-back game for the Fever. Now, the Fever are now 1-6 on the season, and they will play on the 28th against the LA Sparks, the team that they've already beaten once already. For the Las Vegas Aces, they are 3-1 on the season, and their next game is on the 29th, where they face off against the Minnesota Lynx. Now, from Hawkeyes versus Hawkeye to Huskies versus Husky. All right, let's move on to the Seattle Storm and their total domination of the Washington Mystics, defeating them 101-69. Now, this game was over right from the get-go, basically, as the Storm led in just about every single stat. They shot 61.7% from the field compared to the Mystics shooting 34.3%. The Storm led in assists 27-13. Seattle also led in rebounds 33-27, and even in blocks 6-0. Yeah, as I said, total domination. And if you are asking yourself, now how in the world did the Washington Mystics lose this badly to the Seattle Storm? Well, it's because the Mystics was missing 2 of their best players in their PG1, Brittany Sykes, who was out with an ankle injury, and Shakira Austin, who was not with the team for personal reasons. Now, instead of those players in the starting lineup, we saw Julie Van Loo and Aaliyah Edwards get the start. And for the Mystics, the starting lineup really stood no chance against Seattle. The Storm had their big 4 all score 16 or more points. Skylar Diggins-Smith showed that, y'all, she is back. She got her groove back, finishing with almost a double-double with 16 points and 9 assists with only 1 turnover. Nneka Agumake led the game with 19 points overall. So now the Storm improved to 3-3 on the season, with the Mystics now the only winless team left in the WNBA with a record of 0-6 on the season. Seattle, again, as I said earlier, they do come to Chicago on Tuesday, and the Mystics go home on Wednesday to face against the Dream. Finally, the last game of the evening, because there was a lot of games yesterday. Last game of the evening, we saw the Dallas Wings defeat the Phoenix Mercury 107-92. Now, this game was all about the stars, as we saw Arike Gumbawale, Kalia Copper, and Diana Taurasi put on a scoring show. Arike finished with a whopping 40 points in this game, including 7 big three-pointers. She also finished with 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals, just really making herself, her presence felt all throughout the game. I should also add that she continued to find a way to get to the free throw line, going 11 of 12 from the charity strike. Now, for the Phoenix Mercury, Kalia Copper was being KFC. She dropped 32 points in this game, going 4 of 7 from the three-point line. And she was helped by Diana Taurasi, who continues to tell us, she continues to show us from her play that age is nothing but a number. The 41-year-old went 50% from the field, finishing with a whopping 28 points for the Phoenix Mercury. Now, the problem with the Mercury was that no one besides Sophie Cunningham, who added 11 points in this game, was in double figures. You had Kalia Copper, you had Diana Taurasi, who really was good. You had Sophie Cunningham add 11 points, and that was about it for the Phoenix Mercury. Yes, Natasha Cloud was doing her thing, passing that ball, absolutely. But in terms of scoring, there was nobody else in double figures, which was tough for this Phoenix Mercury team. Not only did they not have the scoring necessary, they also was behind in terms of field goal percentage compared to the Dallas Wings. And also rebounding wise, the Mercury didn't stand a chance, getting out rebounded 25-38 for the Dallas Wings. And y'all, you guys can kind of see this as a trend. I've sort of talked about rebounding quite a bit in the video today, and that's because rebounding really did kind of determine the game for all of yesterday's games. Now, for the Wings, it was a full team effort as Maddie Siegrist added 22 points and 9 rebounds. Monique Billings added 18 points and 8 rebounds, and also she had 4 blocks as well. Tierra McCowan had 13 points and 7 rebounds, and surprisingly, she led the squad in assists with 5. And, you know, you, of course, again, had Arike Ogunbowale with 40 points. And the thing to note is that Dallas was missing Natasha Howard, who is still out for the Wings with a foot injury. Now, guys, what a fantastic day of games. We saw games after games after games after games yesterday. And it was phenomenal to watch. So in the event that you were not able to watch those, hopefully this recap does help you out a little bit so you all can know what actually happened yesterday. Now, guys, thank you again so much for watching. If you all made it all the way to the end, please do me a huge favor and hit that like button. That really does help the channel. Also, subscribe to the channel. We just passed 15,000 subscribers. So thank you for those who have subscribed to the channel. If you have not subscribed, I want to ask you to please subscribe. We are on our road to 20,000 subscribers. The goal is to get there before WNBA All-Star. And so if you all want to learn more about what's happening in the world of women's basketball, get updates if you miss a game, and also just join the community of the awesome people of the internet, you can do so by hitting that subscribe button. Also, guys, if you have not already shared this with someone, please do so. Not everybody knows about the content that we are doing on this channel. So if you all can share this with someone who is a women's basketball fan, that would be pretty awesome. Share it on Twitter, share it on Reddit, share it on, you know, all the different places, just so everybody can know in the event that they missed some games, because there was a lot of games. So it's very hard to watch every single game. But if they missed the game, here's where you can go to kind of find out what's going on. So please share this with someone. Also, thank you so much for the folks on Patreon who are actively supporting the channel. We are going to be doing a Patreon exclusive virtual meetup this upcoming week. Patreon folks, I will be posting in the chat tomorrow to let you all know about that. So yeah, if y'all do want to join for that, you all can become a Patreon member at patreon.com/Quita Loves Sports, guys. I thank you all so much for rocking with me. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.